What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with my Week 17 running back rankings video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. Any start-sit questions, anything like that for this Week 17 Championship Edition, bring home that title, ask me your questions, hit that subscribe button, and repeat next year. We've gotten you here. Let's bring you home. Alrighty, Week 17. So number one, this is our half-point PPR rankings, by the way. Christian McCaffrey against Washington. If you own Christian McCaffrey in ESPN formats, you're in basically 59% of championship matchups. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the season. You draft a guy like him, he stays healthy, you basically have a 50-50 chance of winning your title. 2, Kyren Williams. He plays the Giants this week. Those two backs have been on a level of their own. Christian McCaffrey, a tier of his own. But Kyren and McCaffrey, the workload they're getting right now, are just been phenomenal. 3, Rachaad White. He plays New Orleans. Not the best matchup on paper, but he gets a lot of volume, especially through the passing game as well, and he's been phenomenal for fantasy this year. 4, Saquon Barkley. A lot of volume, speaking of, again, a hard matchup, but I'd rather go with the volume and the skill of guys like a Saquon, even on a bad offense, in a bad matchup. But with Tyrod starting, I think that does boost Saquon's touchdown potential, in my opinion. 5, James Cook. He plays New England. I know it wasn't what you wanted last week, but 20 carries. I think he'll be better next week. 6, Jahmyr Gibbs. He plays Dallas. He's RB7 this year. He's missed multiple games. You're playing him. Alvin Kamara plays Tampa Bay. He can get done through the passing game, though. 8, DeAndre Swift. He plays Arizona. I think this could be a really big DeAndre Swift game. I see him run the ball a lot in this one. Josh Jacobs. He plays Indy. Monitor that situation. Obviously, didn't play last week, but I think he will suit up this week. And Indy has been susceptible to the run. Bijan had a great game against them last week, and Josh Jacobs is one of those backs that receives just an absolute ton of volume like we're talking about. 10, Jonathan Taylor in a great matchup against Vegas. Would love to play him this week. 11, Kenneth Walker. I know it might not be what you want every single week, but you've got to remember that home run potential that he possesses. He's one of those guys, he gets decent volume, but even on smaller volume, he can have that one big play that makes his whole day. And Pittsburgh is not a matchup that scares me. 12, Bijan Robinson. He plays Chicago. They've been deceptively good against the run this year, but Bijan gets it done through the air in multiple ways. Obviously, there's an Arthur Smith factor. That's probably why he's at 12 and not in the top 10. You just never know when they're going to pick to not give him the ball. 13, Raheem Mostert. He plays Baltimore. Tough matchup for him, but he's RB2 this year. You got to trust in him. You got to play him in tough matchups. He's a home run hitter. He's got touchdown potential. All the things I like. Even though Baltimore looked phenomenal this last week against the 49ers, you're still playing him. Joe Mixon. He plays KC. He hasn't quite gotten the volume he's gotten in recent weeks due to Chase Brown. But when you look at how well Jake Browning has played across the board, I still have some confidence in Joe Mixon. Travis Etienne Jr., he's had a phenomenal season. Slow second half, but he plays Carolina, who's really, really, really bad against the run. Aaron Jones had a slow year. We saw what he did to them last week. Absolutely tore him up, and they've been bad against running back all year long. 16, Derrick Henry against Houston. I do think Houston's just going to key in on Derrick Henry basically almost exclusively. But Derrick Henry's RB6 right now, one of the best running backs to ever play the game. Even in a tough matchup, you're rolling him out there if you got him probably. If you guys have any Derrick Henry questions, though, let me know. Start sits down in the comments. 17, Ty Chandler. He plays Green Bay. I feel like Madison has a decent chance of suiting up for this one, but I still think Ty Chandler will get the majority of the work with him coming off that high ankle sprain. And Green Bay is a good matchup. 18, Aaron Jones. He plays Minnesota. Tougher matchup than Green Bay is. But Aaron Jones looked really good to me last week, and obviously it was Carolina. But honestly, he's looked good to me when he's been on the field. Basically all season when he's actually been healthy. I do believe he's healthy. And I believe that they'll need to lean on him. The offense is runs differently when Aaron Jones is healthy. 19, David Montgomery. He plays Dallas this week. Touchdown potential each and every week. 20, Tony Pollard. He plays Detroit. Tough matchup. Pollard, I think the thing to me is he gets the ball a decent amount. He just hasn't really passed the eye test for me this year. And obviously it's the last week of the season, but tough matchup, and he could get a touchdown. You know how good his offense is, but if you don't have a touchdown, I think he'll be unhappy with Tony Pollard. 21, Devin Singletary had a phenomenal week 2 weeks ago against Tennessee, receiving absolute majority of the touches. Absolute majority sounds very odd, but receiving the vast majority of the touches in that offense right now with Houston. And he'll have C.J. Stroud coming back, which I think boosts his touchdown potential. 22, Breece Hall against Cleveland. Caught a ton of passes last week. Was good on the ground. Cleveland's a much tougher test, though. And I think it'll make whoever is playing the quarterback position for them this week struggle. 23, James Conner. He plays Philly. tough matchup for him, but James Conner's one of those guys. He can take a screen, go for 50 or 60. He can run it up the gut and hammer it against anybody. I don't think James Conner's one of those guys too. I think playing for such a bad team, he just does not care about the matchup. He just knows he's got to go out there, he's got to do it. He's a physical back, and he brings that mentality to each and every game. And yeah, I like to watch him play, so that's why he cracked my top 23. Not just because I like to watch him play, but he's just a hard-nosed back, and the Philly matchup doesn't scare me out of my top 24. He's an RB2 to me. 24, Chuba Hubbard. Received a lot of volume these last weeks. Many of the weeks over 20 carries, even in a bad offense. But you're getting that type of volume, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. Jacksonville does try to stop the run. They're more of a pass funnel. But still, with that type of volume, you can do a lot worse than Chuba Hubbard this week against Jacksonville. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and like I said, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys for watching.